Hey guys, and welcome to our discussion for Post-Matchday in Week 1 of Serie. I'm here with my brother, where we're going to discuss our opinions and what happened this week. One big thing that did occur this weekend was the use of the VAR, the video assistant replay. And what are your thoughts on the use of it?
It's still early, and a lot of refs are using it a lot, and it has helped, especially against Juve and Torino. Was there one in Torino they still missed that the goal, which I believe it should have been a goal, and I think they used it in a couple other games. I'm not too sure. On Inter too, when under penalty, they double checked it, and it was a penalty. So it has been used well, and I think over time, I think they'll be better at using it, and it'll help teams out.
And I get the one thing too about it was that it did take too long, and a lot of people are saying what's going on. I guess one thing that they could use in the future would probably be maybe to let the crowd know or just let people know what's going on instead of rather just doing something and just stalling the game. Do you think maybe it does stop the flow of the game, perhaps?
Yeah, but it's also what are you gonna do when ref makes a wrong call and you have all the players fight about it, and it's the same thing, right? So it's better having it or having it with the right call than to having it with the wrong call. Yeah, it's not perfect, obviously, but there's still time to adapt and get used to this whole new, especially in Champions League. If they do this in Champions, it'll be even worse. So
I guess it'll just take time for it to really get going and maybe doesn't really stop the flow of the game as well, I guess, right?
yeah, it's only first week, so it's not much.
All right, and with that, we'll go on to the results for this weekend. As you can see here, Bologna and Torino were held at 1 apiece. Milan opened up their season away to Crotone, where they won 3-0. Inter won at home to Fiorentina 3-0. Lazio were held by Spal at home 0-0. Sampdoria beat the newly promoted Benevento 2-1. Sassuolo and Genoa were held at a scoreless draw. Chievo beating Udinese away from home 2-1. Roma beating Atalanta away 1-0. Verona losing at home to Napoli 3-1. And then Juventus beating Cagliari 3-0. And out of these results, do you see any big surprises or do you see anything that really caught your eye at all?
I think Benevento started off well. Even Spal, those two games, I believe, were very well fought out for the last two teams. Verona is against a strong Napoli team. Well, I could see they did struggle and it was hard. But I think the bottom three teams will be fighting for a spot in Serie A, and I think they wouldn't go down without a fight.
Yeah, considering Spal managed to tie Lazio at the Olimpico, where they did beat Juve the other day in the Supercoppa, so that was a big shock seeing them draw at home. It is their first game back in 49 years in Serie A, so that is a big result for them. Benevento being this being their debut season in Serie A, so at least they managed to score a goal in their first game. They did play well. They did take the lead. I guess being able to stay up in Serie A, they have to be a little more consistent. I would say, right?
Yeah, it's always hard to see now, again, with one game done and teams still rebuilding. Mercato still not done. So I think 7 more days? It's August 22nd, so the 31st it will be done. So a couple more, 8 more days. No, nine, sorry. 9 more days. And I think with that 9 to 10 days, there's going to be a lot of shifts and changes to the team.
And do you think you see a lot of teams purchasing players with their after this first day, or do we want to see probably how the second match day goes as well?
I think 5-10 games will really see how a team's really built out. The first two games, like one team could get lucky, one team, I don't know, could get a random penalty, and then I don't know. It's hard. You can see even Inter with their team is starting off really well. Spalletti's a good coach. The team they have, they're building around what they have. So I think over time they can get better, and I don't know. It's still early.
And they also did manage to keep a hold of Kandreva and Perisic, which did really help them. They are working well in Spalletti's system. They are supporting Icardi really well. Do you think they may do any other changes to help out the attack, or do you think they're going to keep it as that right now?
Well, they really have to help their defense. Miranda is probably the best defense, getting rid of Murillo, Medel. And I think they got the new guy, Serio?
Cancelo from
Cancelo.
Valencia, I believe it is.
Yeah, but taking away a lot of their depth. I know they don't have Europa League or Champions League, but still for the Tim Cup and other games, still would help out to get a little bit more defense in there.
And one big thing too, Milan with the new squad they built, they won 3-0 away. Again, they did dominate, but it was for the red card early on. Even with it, they did play well. They would have still dominated even without it. But I would have loved to see how they would have done without it, to see what they would have done from a full squad of against Crotone, who did manage to stay up last year as well. Any thoughts on that?
Well, again, Crotone, the last 10 games of last year, they fought for their spot in Serie. Milan, I don't know. I like their team, but we'll see how they shape up. Because if they don't make Europa League or Champions League or nothing like that, they're going to be messed up by the the financial fair play. Man, I can't say that word. And it'll kind of be better. So.
Yeah, we'll see how they do, because again, anything less than a European qualification spot will result in a failure and maybe even Montella's sacking. Even from that, they do have a good chance. Maybe let's see what they do in the final days of the Mercato. We'll see what that brings. Fiorentina probably do have a lot of work to do as well. Their team was decimated, selling Vicino, Borja-Valero, Tatarusanu, Kalinic. And they only bought, I would say, Simeone, who was probably their best player. They did get Zefkini, who's a young talent, but let's see what else he has to bring. They do need a lot of work to really qualify for something this year, and let's see how they hold out and what they can do in the rest of the Mercato. We'll also go on to say
Roma team and how they structure themselves. Roma is still building a team off Di Francesco, and there's not much they can do off that, but Di Francesco's coming up from Sassuolo, and it's kind of hard for them to adapt that style of play, and it will be hard for Roma, especially from coming from Spalletti and wanting those big wins but never really getting them. With Di Francesco, he has to step up, because Sassuolo is much different than Roma, and
it is a big step up from Sassuolo to Roma. I know a lot of coaches have done that, but maybe for him, coming from Sassuolo, should have gone to maybe another mid-table team, do you think, and then gone to Roma?
Possibly. It's maybe Fiorentina would have been a good choice for him to kind of structure himself there, but Pioli's there now, and well, you never know, right? This could be a new and improved Di Francesco, a new and improved Roma, but you never know, right?
Just some notes from the Roma game. They weren't at their best. I know they could have done better. I know always playing away to Atalanta is tough. They did manage to steal away with a win, but their defense did look a little shaky. Not much was coming from their final third. Atalanta were very close to equalizing many times, but they didn't make the best of their chances. Does Roma really need to improve when it comes to that in the final third and defending in order to maybe win the league and not finish second?
We did pretty good on the transfer market. I was still looking for a right wing. Mahrez, not too sure if he's coming. There's a lot of names were linked to Palms, Munir, and I think one more person. I'm not too sure, but I don't know. It's still hard to see this. Even in the friendlies, it was kind of hard to see where we stood, because some games we played good, and when we played Celta Vigo, we got dominated 4-1. Even though it was a B team, but still, you can't say, we lost 4-1. It's not. It's like a roller coaster. It has a lot of highs and a lot of lows. It's like up and down.
But they do need to stay consistent, and that's the one thing that did cost them the last couple of years when it came to that. I would say, right?
Yeah.
So now, after the discussion for the fixtures, we're going to talk about our player of the weekend. Who would you say was your player of the weekend?
I think Icardi. He scored 2 goals, 2 good finishes, and I think helped Inter with the win against Fiorentina.
For me, I don't want to be biased, but I do want to say for me it was Cutrone. He gets his first start in Serie A, comes back to repay his faith for Montella with a goal, an assist, and a penalty won, which did lead to the victory for Milan. He is only 18, 19 years old, so he does have a lot of potential, and let's see if he can keep it up for the rest of the season. And now after that, we want to say our goal of the weekend probably belongs to Walter Birsa from Chievo with a long strikeout from distance. Did catch Scuffe off his line quite a bit, but if you haven't seen it, check it out. It is really something to see.
As well, guys, put down in the comments who you think the player of the weekend was, as well as the goal of the weekend, and let us know who you think will be a surprise of this year.
And also follow us on Twitter, Calcio_bros, and also comment below on our YouTube channel. And we hope to hear from you guys soon.
See ya.